Welcome to Nourish with Kristin, your weekly chat with certified nutrition therapist and lifelong foodie Kristin Whitaker, coming to you from Utah Natural Wellness with a reminder that your food should serve you. So, let's dish! I'm Kristin Whitaker. You know me from Utah Natural Meat and Milk. I work at the store there. I'm their in-house nutrition therapist, and I love talking about everything food all day, every day. You can find me at nourishwithkristin.com or come into the store and talk to me anytime. Okay, today's topic, we do this once a week, is keto. Is it a fad diet or not? And is there ever a straight answer? Really, I'm going to say yes, it is a fad diet if you do it the wrong way. So let's talk about this for just a minute. I'm not going to be covering the specifics of the ketogenic diet. I do teach a class on that and have more material coming, but right now I just want to cover this fad topic because I get this all the time. People brush it off. They dismiss it. I've done it. I've heard about it. My friend did it, and they just completely dismiss it. And I think you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't listen for just a minute about what the keto diet is and has to offer. So, about 5 years ago, I would have sworn it was a fad diet, and I would have claimed expert opinion and dissuaded everybody from doing it. I first heard about the keto diet. I was sitting in a doctor's office flipping through magazines, and I just saw a mention of it in passing, and so I Googled it. It took me to a site and I read about it, and it said keto, you can eat all the cheese and bacon and butter you want, you don't count calories, the weight falls off, and I was hooked. You had me at cheese, right? And bacon. So I started the keto diet, or what I thought was the keto diet. I even read a book, so I was an expert, right? And I actually bought, I'm not even kidding, at a restaurant supply, a 40-pound brick of cream cheese. Like, how gross is that? With the full intention of eating this whole thing and being so happy. And I put butter on everything, and I was pounding the fat, and I didn't eat very many vegetables, but I was doing good. I was keto, all the fat that I could cram, right? And then I went camping with some friends, and we went on a hike. And I was doing good. You know, I passed on the rolls at dinner. I didn't eat the crackers and trail snacks. And I thought, yeah, I'm doing so good. I'm losing weight. I'm getting fit. We went on a hike that wasn't even very hard. And as we hit the little bit of a climax there, all of a sudden I got that tunnel vision where it gets black and fuzzy and starts closing in. And I knew I was going down. And I hollered to my friends to slow down. I said, wait a minute. And as I fell down, I said, I'm keto, and I hit the ground, kind of slumped over. So those were my dying words. They quickly revived me. They pulled honey sticks out of their backpacks, and I came back to life and finished the hike. And I still get teased because that was, anytime we go out now, and who's got the honey sticks? But I swore keto off. If that's what it did to me after a few weeks, I couldn't even handle a little bit of a nature walk. I'm like, it's a fad diet. It's full of crap. There's no science behind it, and I swore it off. So let's fast forward to what changed my mind. So luckily, I can admit when I've done things wrong because I do them so often. I'm really used to that. So it was almost the first day of school. Most of you know I went back to nutrition therapy school because I've always just had this passion and quest for healthy food, and so many friends and family with personal health issues and just this desire to help. And I know just in my soul that food is the answer. So I went back to school to learn how to wield this power, right? And in my very first class, anatomy and physiology, the professor happened to be a doctor at an Alzheimer's clinic, and she kind of mentioned in passing the MEND study. The MEND study was a study involving 10 advanced Alzheimer patients, and they put them on a therapeutic ketogenic diet, a strict ketogenic diet. And 9 out of 10 of them were able to go back to work. I mean, can you imagine that if you've gone from not knowing your own name to being able to work? And she talked about how as soon as they went off the ketogenic diet, they reverted back to their pre-medical state of confusion and dementia and diminished capacity. And then they'd put them back on the keto and they'd be restored again to full function. And that caught my attention because, I mean, here I was back at school, and I was self-conscious because I'm going up against people half my age. I haven't been in college for 20 years, and my brain's a little fuzzy. And she tells me that the ketogenic diet is healing brains, and that ketones are a perfect fuel for your brain. And I'm like, wait a minute, I must have missed something. So I dove like passionately into the study of the ketogenic diet. I have shelves of books. I have mountains of information I have piled through. I have experimented on myself, on my family. I've learned absolutely everything I can, and I've really developed a passion for it. So am I pushing the diet at people? No. It really isn't for everybody, but I do believe it might have an application for you, maybe you haven't thought of. So fad diet, yes, if you do it the wrong way. If you buy into the bacon and butter and cream cheese model of ketogenics. Fad diet, if you do it the right way, no. So we'll talk a little bit about that. What is a fad diet, first of all? Let's cover that for a minute, because I Googled for this broadcast, is keto a fad diet? And it came up on a list of like all-time fad diets right next to cabbage soup and the baby food diet. And I was like, what? I would never put keto next to the baby food diet, which don't, by the way, that's ew. So fad diets, by definition, they promote rapid weight loss. And does keto do that? You'll hear that all the time. You'll hear people say, I did keto and my pants fell off. It does promote fat loss, but rapid, like inhuman amounts of fat loss, no, it's not going to do that. Fad diets promote very little work, very little effort for big, huge results. Is that the keto diet? No, it's actually quite a lifestyle change. It's a little bit difficult to get the grasp of. Now, once you do, it's simple and beautiful and doable, but I wouldn't call it a quick fix or an easy thing. There's an investment up front and a learning curve. Fad diets are famous for eliminating necessary nutrients, just sweeping them out of there. So you're all liquids, or only green foods, or only raw foods, or different things like that. And the claim is that you're missing key specific nutrients that are causing a deficiency that will make you sick in the long run. Is that keto? We are cutting out a lot of carbs, not all carbs, but a lot of them. But if you think about it, can you name an essential carbohydrate? There are a lot of nutrients in certain carbohydrate forms that we can, but we're not cutting those out. If it's nutrient dense, we want it in our diet. We're seeking those things and we're actively including them. Those are the carbohydrates we're eating. So we're not eliminating vast groups of nutrients, okay? And another hallmark of fad diets is they're temporary. Have you been on a diet that you're like, if I can just make it through this week, I'll be skinny and happy and beautiful and smart and everything, and I just have to make it through this awful, smelly, horrible, nasty food for a week? That's a fad diet. Keto, not so much. There's a time investment, like a 6 weeks minimum to even get into fat adaptation or full ketosis. And then, do you have to be in keto your whole life? No. But once you feel the benefits of it, you might choose to make it a lifestyle. So, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. So is it a temporary thing? No. So when I hear people say, I tried keto for a week and it totally didn't work, I'm like, makes sense. Of course it didn't work. It's not a fad diet. It's not developed and made to work in a week. Okay, and then let's discuss some of the benefits of the ketogenic diet. So this really is so much more for weight loss. And I'm the first to admit weight loss is what brought me to the ketogenic diet, and more clients than not go keto for weight loss. That's what attracts them to it. But when you find there's so much more to the diet, you might decide that, hey, this will help me out too. So one that I loved and I was actively seeking when I went back to school is energy regulation. Do you guys get those spikes and dips during your day? Like I used to have to lay down and close my eyes right before school got out and the kids were coming home. Part of that's mental because you know you're going to have to cope with all this drama about to walk in the door. But part of it was I just had this crash and I had to lay down. Do you guys have any of that going on in your day? You just can't quite make it through a whole day, or you're bursting with energy one minute and the next minute you are dragging but tired. That's what I mean by spikes and dips. When you're on keto, you have kind of a slow burn energy that lasts and lasts and lasts. It's bedtime and you're like, oh, I could still go. And that was exciting and shocking to me. So sustained energy, increased mental focus. Like I said, going back to school, I'm like, yes, please, I would give my right arm for my brain to work a little better, a little faster. So the ketones, which is what we're using for energy on this diet, are the perfect brain fuel. So the ketone bodies are water soluble, and they perfectly just easily cross the blood-brain barrier, and they become this readily available energy source for our brain to run on, which really does improve mental clarity and like speed of thought and memory and all these kinds of things. Like I said, it's used in applications for Alzheimer's patients. So it's a beautiful diet to boost your brain. The ketone diet, I told you boost your brain, and I'm all kinds of tongue-tied. Does not boost that. So the keto diet is incredibly anti-inflammatory when you do it right. Now remember, when I was pounding down processed foods that were high in fat, I was probably causing more inflammation than keto could undo. But if you're eating clean, beautiful, whole food, the keto diet is beautifully anti-inflammatory. So what do I mean by that? A lot of us have systemic inflammation, chronic inflammation, and maybe we're not even aware, but that's what's causing aches and pains in our body. Brain fog, mood disorders, it can cause stomach pains and cramping and gas and bloating. It can cause inflammation, depending on where it hits in your body, is the root of all ills, I would say. Just about everything that's bothering you can be traced to an immune response that's causing inflammation in your body. So when you're on the keto diet, it's hugely anti-inflammatory. It actually encourages your cells to recycle and regenerate in apoptosis and autophagy. The very process of being in ketosis encourages your body to run more efficiently and to clean out all the worn out and broken cells that are causing damage, and to clean out and recycle them with new, efficiently running cells, if that makes sense. So, okay, another benefit of the keto diet is satiation. So I'm a lifetime hungry girl. Like, if food is a drug, you could say I was seeking all the time. If I'm in class, I'm wondering how long before the bell rings so I can grab a snack. If I'm at a party, I'm right by the buffet, because, I'm grazing all the time. I was just always hungry all the time. So it was amazing to me when I started doing keto, started doing it right, and I suddenly skipped a meal and didn't realize it. Wait, what? I live for meals. I live for food and flavors. How did I just miss lunch? But when you're in ketosis, your body's running so much more efficiently that you'll find you don't need as much food. So some people will criticize the diet, and they'll say you're not eating enough. It's because you're not eating constantly. You don't need to anymore. It kind of frees up your time and your schedule when you don't have to hurry and pack a lunch everywhere you go or plan where you're stopping to eat. You're like, oh, I'll be okay till I get around to it. And it's very intuitive. You eat when you're hungry, and you're not hungry as often. So that's pretty cool. So no more hungry girl, which is awesome. I love it. There are exciting studies on cancer and ketosis, and they're kind of preliminary right now. We're just on the brink of some applications, but if you think about cancer cells feed on sugar. So if we take all the sugar out of our diet, it's a lot harder for cancer to begin and to thrive and to multiply and to grow, not to mention that our body is recycling cells that aren't healthy and well. So cancer either gets stopped before it starts, or it's been shown therapeutically to treat cancer and to speed healing. So that's exciting. It's also been shown, I just read a study this week about keto and MS, keto and Parkinson's. Keto, it's just, and historically it's been used for epilepsy and neurological disorders. It has success with autoimmune conditions. So it's kind of exciting to see there's an application for actual healing that's being used. Sound like a fad diet? I didn't see anybody get better eating baby food 3 meals a day. So sorry, Jennifer Aniston. Another one, let's talk quickly about cholesterol. I hear this all the time. If I go on keto, my cholesterol will go through the roof, and I already have high cholesterol. Actually, the opposite happens. So the keto diet over time can raise your HDL, your beneficial cholesterol. It can lower LDL and triglycerides, bring them right down into a healthy range. What disturbs people is when you start and you begin this healing process and shifting over to this fattier diet, it can cause the release of LDL and triglyceride particles into your bloodstream while you're kind of flushing them out and healing. And that can show a temporary spike in testing. I know when I started, I had my wellness check and my numbers were, well, through the roof for me. They were clinically high. They weren't like I was going to die or anything, but they alarmed me. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm killing myself. But everything I read said, hold on, wait it out. So I did. And 6 months later at a retest, my numbers were textbook perfect. Like, can I brag for a minute? My cholesterol's beautiful. So I don't have a lot going on for me, but I have good cholesterol. So keto actually helps with that, where people criticizing would say, if I'm eating fat, surely the opposite is true. No, keto will fix that. Keto can even lower your blood sugar. In fact, that's one of the biggest benefits. Keto is hugely successful in stabilizing insulin levels, reversing insulin resistance, and keeping our blood sugar level. That's why we don't get spikes and dips. It's also part of the inflammation gig. Is insulin is highly inflammatory in the body. Now we need it, it has a place, but in our modern diet we have too much insulin. We're using it too much. It's in our bloodstream all the time and we never give it a break. So it's causing inflammation. Also, did you know that you can't burn fat in the presence of insulin? So that's insulin's job, is to shut the door on fat and keep that stored and just keep you burning carbohydrates. So if you go on the keto diet and you're not eating sugar, so you're not spiking insulin all the time, suddenly your body has the opportunity to burn fat and it's not on this roller coaster of insulin spikes anymore. One of my favorite benefits of keto is it stabilizes mood. And this was harder to quantify. I can't just be like, you're going to be 25% more chill. You're not going to yell at your kids as much. You're going to feel better about yourself. But I can just testify from personal experience that you will. You'll have coping mechanisms. You'll feel better. You'll be calmer. The bad isn't so bad. It just helps stabilize across the board. And that has to do with the brain support and the neurotransmitters that we're benefiting from the ketone bodies and from the nutritious food that we're taking in. But there's a mood stability that if I go off diet for too long, I'm like, I revert back to my anxious, panicked self. I'm like, oh, no, okay. I need to get back on because I feel better. With a fat diet, you're forcing yourself into this unnatural diet for these health benefits that you're desiring, right? But with a real sustainable diet like keto, you actually crave the way you feel when you're on that diet. And that's how I am, especially with mental health. And then last but not least is weight loss. I mentioned a little bit about fat burning. But in ketosis, you are using fat as your primary fuel, which means if you're eating less than you need, you'll be burning fat stores. So you're turning on your ability to burn fat, especially that awful fat that's around your midsection, the one that's the last to go. I hate that, right? That's what we're targeting. The keto diet will burn that up. So there's studies that have showed that a keto diet compared to a more traditional diet burns 2.2 times more fat. So that's exciting. Again, you have to be doing this the right way, or there will be negative consequences, but it is a sustainable way to lose fat. Now, that said, I actually have clients that are using keto to gain weight, and that's just manipulating macros and calories. So that can be done too. I'm not saying if you're on keto, you're going to waste away to nothing. I think I'm proof of that. I got a little more than nothing going on. So just know that. So those are some of the benefits of keto. For those of you that just tuned in, hi, it's good to see you, Justin. We just talked a little bit about, energy levels, mental focus, anti-inflammatory benefits, satiating and hunger control, cancer prevention and disease management, cholesterol regulation, blood sugar regulation, and mood stabilization, and finally weight loss. And those are just some of the benefits of keto. So reasons why it's safe done right. It's not a fad diet. Okay, let's go talk the difference between fad keto and clean keto. And I mean, Keto, I understand why I get this all the time. We have a lot of customers that come into the store, into Utah Natural Meat, and they're either keto or they're searching and thinking about keto because the buzz is everywhere. You hear about it everywhere you go. I've even got like merchandise. My sister gave me a hat. This is my low carb, high fat rocker t-shirt that I love. Sorry, everything's backwards, but trust me, you could deck out. And there's a bazillion Facebook groups, and there's just celebrities endorsing it and all this buzz. And if you Google keto, you'll get people that are so hardcore against it and so hardcore for it, and there's so much buzz. It really does sound like a keto diet just because it's having that moment of popularity. But let's look at the keto diet. I would call fad keto. I also call dirty keto. Sounds intriguing, right? And then the correct, I think, therapeutic keto approach, I call it clean keto. So fad versus clean. Fad keto celebrates the junk food that you can have. So technically you can set up your macros, and when you're on the keto diet, you're not so much focusing calories as you are macros. Macros refers to micronutrients are what you need in trace amounts. Macronutrients you need in large amounts. So fat, protein, carbohydrates. Those are your macros. You're going to have high fat, moderate protein, low carb. And that's the basics, the very, in a nutshell, basics of keto, okay? So you can fit a lot of junk food into those macros. In fact, I've been in Facebook groups that will celebrate the recipe craze of the week, and one time it was sugar-free Jell-O with sugar-free Cool Whip whipped together, and it had a sugar-free diet Mountain Dew to make it fizzy, and I about threw up in my mouth when I read that. But everyone's like, yay, it's keto, can you believe it? It tastes so good. And I'm like, you're just eating a chemical nightmare. That, blah. So, but yeah, fits in the macros. There you go. So, or, like I told you, I had that 40-pound block of cream cheese, and I would literally just shave a piece off and just eat it walking by and be like, yeah, I'm healthy. It's awesome. So that's junk food keto. Clean keto is when we're focusing on real whole foods. I mentioned there's a learning curve in keto. You really do invest a little bit in learning and kind of setting your, cleaning out your pantry and changing your whole eating parameters to focus on these macros, right? If you're going to go to all that trouble, then why do all these cheats and fast and gross junk food fixes, right? Why not just maximize your investment and go clean and go whole food? As long as you're going to put all this work in, let's make this work, okay? So fad keto is junk food. Sustainable, real, nourishing keto is good, whole, clean food. Fad keto is generic, and clean keto is tailored to you. So we're all so different. Every one of us, we're so individual. In fact, I just posted a picture on my Facebook of me and my twin sister, who's like to my shoulder and teeny tiny. We're twins, and we're so completely opposite. We can eat different foods. We have different blood types. We are so different. So imagine just any person in a crowd sitting next to you, how biologically different you are from them. And one diet is supposed to fit. So like one blog that you read, or like I did, one little article is supposed to tell you how to do keto and what's going to work. No, that's generic keto. So there's not one size fits all. Real keto is tailored to your needs. Some of us have a higher carb tolerance, and we get these, I call them bonus carbs, like, oh great, you can have more than other people. Others of us have kind of broken our metabolism with crash diets. That's me. I'm recovering from a yo-yo diet lifestyle. And we have almost no carb tolerance, so we're going to be extra low while we're starting out. These are things that you wouldn't know just from a one-size-fits-all approach. So that's another difference. We talked a little bit already about temporary versus lifestyle. So if you're approaching any diet, I talked about this in another video, any diet with a number in mind, where you're like, I'm going to eat this way till I lose 50 pounds and then I can go back to eating normal. That's a temporary approach to dieting, and that almost never works. There can be a case for therapeutic diets that are temporary, but even then it's not like, oh, I'm done, I can go back to the way I ate. With a clean keto, you're looking at more of a lifestyle. So does that mean that you're signing up, you're taking your vows, as long as I live keto, you'll be my diet, right? No, It's not a lifetime commitment, but it will probably be something that's in and out of your life. For example, Mark Sisson, Mark's Daily Apple from Primal Health, he's a huge keto advocate. He said in his book Keto Reset that he's keto for January, and then the rest of the year he's in and out of ketosis. He eats mostly primal, and he'll go in and out. He just does keto often enough to keep that machine running and available and have the benefits of it, but he's not tied to it. For me, I run better. Like I said, my mental health's better. I feel better. My energy's better in keto. So most of the time I am, but I cycle out. I say cycle like it's a calculated thing, but if there's like a big ripe peach in my face, I'm cycling out. It's not so much of a cycle as a snap decision. I will go out probably once or twice a month for special occasions or meals, or just because today I feel like I need more carbs. You can do that once you've mastered this diet and embraced this lifestyle. So if that makes sense, you're not stuck in this strict regimen the rest of your life, but it's not something that like, if I can make it through 8 weeks, I'm done and I'll never keto again. It's not like that. Another difference, the fad diet is all about restriction. You have a list of foods you can eat and a list of foods that you can't eat, and you're trying to eat as much food as you can and still be in your macros. So you're like, oh, but if I eat this food, I can have more of it, right? So as long as you stay on these lists, you're safe to eat whatever you want. And on a clean diet, it's more about efficiency. So you're not trying to eat as much food as you can and still be in your count and your macros, right? You're actually trying to eat nutrient-dense food and be satiated and have your nutritional needs met and your energy needs met and be able to work out without being tired and all these things. You're looking to be efficient with how you eat. So that's a difference in perspective. Another different perspective is if you're doing any fad diet, but fad keto, you are enduring till the end of that diet, right? And the end could be your 8 weeks, your 6 weeks, your 6 months. The end could be 50 pounds or whatever number you have in your head, but you're just hanging on and you're feeling deprived and you just are counting the days till you'll be done with this, right? If you are doing keto the right way, you're eating clean foods that nourish you, that you enjoy, and you've cultivated a taste for these wonderful foods, and you're listening to your body, you're not enduring, you are thriving. You feel better than you've ever felt. You feel more like yourself than you've ever felt, and everything's just going better for you, so you're not counting down the days. It just takes that right out of your game. Okay, and then finally with the fad diet, you're kind of left guessing a little bit, where with the clean keto, you're very educated in how you approach your diet. So on this fad diet, you might be checking in with people 5 times a day on a Facebook group. Hey, can I eat this? Hey, look at this label. It says there's tons of fat and there's no sugar, so can I eat it? Or this, it's a lot of questions, and I hope this is okay. When you're doing keto the right way, you know how your body reacts. You know what fits in your macros, and you know how to catch up if you get a little behind. So it's really more intuitive, it's more educated, it's more tailored to you, and you don't have to rely on other people to tell you exactly what you should eat all the time. Takes the guesswork out. So I love that about keto. If you have any questions, we've got just a few more minutes. You can pop them in. But really the best way, if you want to talk keto, how to do it, or your experiences with doing it, or ask, would this help me in my situations, then contact me. A great way to do that is to see me at the store. So I'll be at Utah Natural Meat today. We're open Tuesdays and Thursdays from 2 to 6 and Saturdays from 10 to 3. You can find our address and directions at utahnaturalmeat.com. It's an awesome place for anyone keto to shop, because when I say nutrient-dense, clean, wonderful food, here we are, grass-fed, ethically raised meat, raw milk that I can show you how to keto-fy, and a line of products including my Primal Porridge is a hot cereal that's instant, that is keto, that you can have when you're missing your oatmeal or your grains that you can't really have. So we have a lot of experience between me and other people in the store. It's a great place to talk all things keto. I do it all day and I love it. So come on into the store. You can also find me on my website, nourishwithkristin.com. You can send me emails or set up a coaching call. Right now I have kind of generic coaching packages posted, so I can help you with whatever your issues are, but probably by the time the replay of this is available, I'll have a keto coaching package available too. So check that out if that's interesting. And then also in my Facebook group where you're watching me now, Utah Natural Wellness, shoot off questions anytime. I love to chat. And please invite your friends. The more people we get in this group, the more fun we can have, the deeper conversations, the more recipe swapping that goes on, the bigger the party. So please invite your friends to Utah Natural Wellness on Facebook. So that we didn't even get into how to keto, but I hope you can see it's just not right to dismiss it easily as a keto, as a fad diet. It's not right to be like, oh, you're doing keto, that's messed up. If people say that, that just screams ignorant to me. They just don't understand. So if you've been turned off to keto because you did it wrong, or you know somebody like me who did it wrong, who fell off a mountain and had to get revived with honey, give it another chance, and let's talk more about that. Because really, you can't say any one diet is for everybody, but I do believe keto is so beneficial that it's worth it to put the work in to open this metabolic pathway to become a fat burner instead of a sugar burner. And then once you have that established, that's a natural pathway that's been neglected for so long, it's kind of atrophied. But once we've invested into opening this pathway up again and making it a default, and we're fat burners again, we can switch between carb and fat burning. And that's an efficient, awesome way to live. It's like the best of both worlds, and that's where we want to be. This is why I think I'm tempted to say everyone should try keto, because you want to flex this metabolic muscle just so you have it in your repertoire when you need it. So consider that. Anyway, guys, thank you for coming. It's so good to see so many faces here. And yeah, keep in touch, and we'll see you next week. Thanks. Bye.